Hey everybody, Carl from Carl's Opinion, and we're jamming to a little wake-up music on the West Coast.
So hold on tight.
There you go.
To me. Love like we never grew up and live like you just get one tonight. We're kings and queens. One blink and it's over. Wake up, but we're old.
Wake up, everybody. Wake up. Know it. Boom. Well, that should have been enough to wake you up, huh? All right. Let's see. What we got here going here. Got a little bit of an echo. Drive me insane. Oh, there it is. Boom. Okay, let's see. Nope, gone. Thank God. All right, make sure everything else is good. Anyway, if you notice, there's just a vMix video call-in. All right, let's do this though, because this is driving me nuts, and it's too. Where's the audio? Fuck. Okay. I don't know why I have that. Anyway, boom. How's that? Is that better? I don't know. I think so. Let's cut down. Yeah. All right. I just cut down my microphone, my headset a little bit there. It's going to drive me a little bit nuts. But let's see how we're looking on YouTube here, just to make sure before we get too much into this and I get all jacked up again. Let's see. All right, adjusted the gain on the microphone. Seems like a little bit loud. Yo, Mr. O'Shea, Blogcast. If you want to come in on the vMix video call-in link on the chat, feel free. Oh, my God. What an honor. Holy shit. Like, Mr. O'Shea Duke Jackson just came into my chat room. Wow. Okay. That's a big deal for me. For anybody out there who doesn't know Mr. O'Shea Duke Jackson, well, you're an idiot. You should know him, dumbass. But anyway, and this guy is giving all kinds of people, and not so much just introductions, but like put them in the spotlight, got them out there going. I mean, there's a lot of guys I follow because I saw him on, I saw him on him. But let me take this stupid thing out of my. And Mr. Jackson, I'm having so much fun learning how to do this crap. I swear I'm ready to shoot somebody. I'd have to end up defending myself. Let's see here. Where we get here? Audio. Let's see if that's any better. Oh, that's much better. Okay. Yeah, I just had to turn off the headset for the audio coming in. Now watch, I'll screw it up if somebody comes in on a vMix. It'll totally mess it up. So, but anyway, so yeah, we're doing this show live stream tonight. I've been playing with this, deleting most of the videos after I do them because they generally get jacked up, which is so much fun. I had one guy call in, had a whole conversation with him for like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes, and nobody else could hear it. It was wonderful. So I ended up deleting that video. I had some fun last night. Ended up deleting that video. But I figured, you can go private. It's like when I do the private, it's like, oh, it works, right? And then I go public, and then it doesn't. So it's like, well, what the hell? It's just me anyway. I mean, somebody wants to talk some shit about me, I really don't give a shit. Most people are going to talk shit about me, I probably don't care about anyway. Now, if Mr. Jackson or moderators were saying, hey, man, you're kind of fucked up, I'd probably listen. And again, I just want to thank Mr. Jackson again for having his subs come on over and sub to my site. I picked over like 110 subs, all from his site. A bunch of his moderators also subbed to my site, which was really cool. I thought that was really, really, really cool. And during the interview I did with Mr. Jackson last week, both he and his moderators were putting the link to my site in the chat room. So that was totally cool. But anyway, what I'd like to talk about this morning is I saw a headline there from The Hill. Trump's potentially going to declare a state of national emergency to get the military to build the wall, use the funding from the military budget, which we have plenty of. Totally in favor of this. It's a totally great idea. Plus, the Democrats, they'll bitch and moan, but let's be honest, they know this thing has to get done. They can't vote for it. It gives them a great way out. And they still get to bitch and moan and call him like, a tyrant and everything. Like, oh, he's declaring martial law. No, he's not declaring martial law. Declaring a state of emergency. Oh, he's going to take all your rights away from you. He's going to lock people up. Gays, blacks, Mexicans, everybody's getting locked up. And then, I guess, liberals that he doesn't like. So, see, I'm a white conservative. I'm probably safe. The rest of you, well, you might be fucked. No, I'm just kidding. No, he's not going to lock anybody up. The thing that always amazes me about people who think Trump is some kind of a far right kind of nutcase. The guy is basically a '90s liberal. And basically, he hung out with the Clintons. He hung out with a lot of Democrats. Him and Chuck Schumer probably used to talk all the time about everything. That's when he says, "Oh, I know Nancy, I know Chuck." Well, he actually does. I mean, he's a liberal Democrat. The biggest problem he had was convincing us conservative Republicans that he was actually going to be a conservative Republican. That was the biggest problem he had. It wasn't. So I don't know why when he came to Washington, why Schumer, Pelosi, or just Schumer, the hell with Pelosi. I mean, just a couple of dudes from one's from Brooklyn, one's from Queens. I mean, Jesus, that would have been a hell of a, hey, good morning, guys. Dominic, and also the Insomniac, hello. There's the vMix video call-in if you want to do that. Just let me know you're doing it, and it should show up for me as the call-in. It'll come on in. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know why Schumer just going to get together with Trump and say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what you want to do. Let's do it. I mean, remember, the reason why Trump put out that list of federal judges he would appoint that he got from the Federalist Society, he had to do that to convince us conservatives that he was a real conservative, that he was going to put conservative judges on the bench. So he went to the Federalist Society, his campaign did, and said, hey, give me a list of judges that are conservative to show that this guy is going to actually appoint conservative judges, because we didn't know. We didn't know if he was going to appoint a bunch of liberal judges. Again, the guy's been a liberal Democrat his whole life. He's, hanging out in Manhattan and Queens, palling around with liberals. Great line from 2008. And we were all concerned about him. So that's why he put that out there. Now, he actually has a higher conservative rating than Ronald Reagan did in his first couple of years in office. I think it was the American Conservative Union or something. I don't know who they are. But anyway, his rating was actually higher than actual Ronald Reagan's, was at the time. So, he's doing fine over here. But, I mean, he does want to do deals. He does want to work with Democrats. It's in his DNA. I mean, he's a liberal Democrat from New York City. Okay, I mean that's just who he is. You got to pick Mike Pence for VP. I mean, not to carry the state of Indiana. I mean, there's a whole lot of electoral votes there. No, you got to pick Mike Pence because establishment, conservative, Republican, evangelical, family, the whole 10 yards. Because everybody, now we would have picked some kind of like even middle of the road Republican. We would have said, there he is. He's going to govern from the center left. And so I don't know why the liberals didn't make deals with him. But anyway, if he declares a state of national emergency, the military goes ahead and funds his wall. It lets everybody off the hook, and the Democrats get a win-win-win. They can say, we didn't vote for it, and see, we told you he was a tyrant. We told you he was a dictator. Look what he's doing. And again, martial law and rounding up everybody. So, I think it's a win-win for everybody. But, if you have an opinion on this, you want to call in and talk about it, that's fine with me. As far as other news, let's see what else we got going on here this morning in the AM. I'm sure there's somebody being interviewed on some of the Sunday talk shows already. Get this new phone to work. I always like when they give you the upgrade. No, that don't make any sense. Shift to target potential perjury during Congress Russia probe. Well, okay, there's a big waste of time. That's nice. Oh, and here's another story. 22 immigrants died in ICE detention centers in the past 2 years. NBC News. Well, I'm sure there'll be a lot of, context to that. I'm sure not. I mean, how many have died overall over the years, period? I mean, these people come over here, they're sick, they're sickly. They're generally not in the best of health. I mean, go figure. So, I mean, that shouldn't be a shock to anybody. That a bunch have died, and well, it's not a bunch, 22 in 2 years. I mean, how many Americans have died in the last 2 years from any kind of illness? Even with great health care. So that's an interesting story. But, again, potential perjury during Congress Russia probe. And, they got to let this go. We got a country to run. All this talk of impeachment, I brought this up last night to anybody who saw the video, albeit I did delete it because I had a lot of technical difficulties beyond my control with that. But, the thing about the impeachment, it's like, why are we impeaching this guy? The economy is doing great. Unemployment is at, record lows all the way across the board for Americans in general, for certain ethnic groups in particular. African American unemployment, the lowest in history. Hispanic unemployment, I believe lowest in history. Women unemployment, probably, I think the lowest in 50 years or some crazy number like that. National unemployment is the lowest in 50 years. Everything's going good. We have peace breaking out in the world. We got the European Union. We did a great trade deal with the European Union. It wasn't as good as it could have been, but it's better than it was. Improved the NAFTA agreement, the USMCA. Again, it could have been better, but it was still better than it was. We got China sitting down at the table with us, talking over trade. North Korea is not launching missiles. Remember, Barack Obama told Donald Trump the most serious, important foreign policy issue you're going to have, the most important national security issue you're going to have facing your presidency, it's going to consume your presidency, is going to be North Korea. Well, no, it's not. He was wrong because Trump came in and was obnoxious, was a dick, and he got this guy to sit down at the table with him. Literally sit down at a table with him. A few years ago, nobody would have thought that would have been possible. And the Koreas are kind of taking care of this on their own right now. I mean, they're putting a rail line in to be able to have people go back and forth. They're removing landmines, they're removing gun towers from the demilitarized zone. I mean, you can thank President Trump for that. You say, well, anybody could have done. Well, anybody, but nobody did. So, we're not worried about, North Korea launching blowing up Tokyo or Seoul with a nuclear bomb. Yeah, that would guarantee their destruction. Thanks. But, meanwhile, all those people in Tokyo and Seoul get whacked. So there's, that seems like that's not going to be a possibility anytime soon. And it seems like, there haven't been any missile tests or missile launches, I think, in the last year. I think for all of this year, for all of 2018 rather, and there hasn't been a nuclear bomb test, I believe, for all of 2018 also. And that's quite a bit to say. So why are we going to impeach this guy? For what reason? Because we don't like him? Well, and I don't have to like, there are people I do business with I don't like. I mean, if I only did business with people I liked, I wouldn't be doing a lot of business. I represent a lot of people I don't necessarily like, but I bust my ass for them, and I get some really good results. I'll put my website here. Put my website in here. There you go, in the chat room. You can go there. You can see some of the victories I've had in the last few years, last several years rather. In Nye County, if you go to criminal defense under my website, look under, you'll see family law, civil, stuff like that. If you go to criminal defense, you'll see some of the victories I've had. Cases ranging from, attempt murder, sexual assault, arson, things like that. And it's not necessarily like any of these people. I wouldn't necessarily go out and, sit in a bar with any of these people. But, busting my ass for them. I wouldn't necessarily, but I do business with him in the fact that I represent him. So same thing with Trump. You don't like the guy? Tough shit. Get over it. I mean, enough's enough already. I always thought it kind of came down to also, I kind of mentioned this last night again. Unfortunately, I think only 22 people got to see their videos, only 22 views on it when I took it down. I don't want to torture anybody else with my technical problems. But I feel sorry for the 22 people that did have to go through that. But nonetheless, I brought this up last night. It's like, okay, I get it, old, obnoxious, orange-haired white guy. I mean, at some point we got to let that go. I mean, things are getting done right. People are working. Every job that's created, that's one more family that gets to stay together. One of the biggest issues and I do a lot of divorce work, one of the biggest issues for failed marriages are finances. How come you're not working? How come you can't get a job? How come you didn't get a job? Why is your office not doing that good? You're not working as hard. You got something. It's your fault. It's whatever. But if it's not your fault, it's the economy, that can cause a lot of serious strains in a relationship, which could unfortunately ultimately lead to a divorce. But if both parents are working, or if one parent wants to stay at home and one parent is working, generally it would be the father. It goes out and works. Sorry, I'm kind of traditional like that. Everybody can yell and scream at me about that. But nonetheless, so, and he's got a job, then, he's got his dignity, he's got his pride, he's able to take care of his family. His family is happier, they're not rolling in dough, they're not rich, they're not wealthy, but they're paying their bills, and nobody's having to worry about it. They don't have to worry about where the mortgage or the rent is coming from next month. They're able to think like a couple months out, a little bit of peace of mind, and that's important. So, when he drops those numbers down, which seems like nobody seems to care about, I don't know why, all those people, those 25,000 jobs created in the month of December, potentially there's 325,000 families. Say it's like, okay, whatever, say it's 160,000 families, husband and wife were part of that 325. That's 160,000 families that now have peace of mind, have dignity, have pride. I've always said the worst job I ever had was when I was out of work looking for a job. Definitely the worst job I ever had. Worse than anything. And I've done some really tough jobs. I was, hauling 110 pounds worth of drywall over my head, and I weighed about 135 pounds at the time. Doing that all day long. I was carrying oxygen and acetylene tanks. On my shoulder, going up the man lift and stuff. When again, I weighed about 135, 145 pounds. So, I mean, I've had some really crappy jobs, but still, those jobs were better than, when I was out of work, looking for work, going to job sites, talking to foremen, getting the runaround, So if you have a job, you just get a lot of dignity, a lot of pride out of it, and you're able to take care of your family. For a man, that's really important. Any women watching out there, let you know, that's really important for us. If you can take care of your family, that's like the first most important thing there is. It's even more important for a man. It's even more important than taking care of himself. You can take care of his wife, take care of his kids. It's an obligation, but it makes you feel proud, and it makes you feel good. And people who feel good about themselves, those are generally better citizens. Less likely to get into trouble, less likely to cause people harm, and that's always been true. So I can't see a reason to impeach this guy. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, if the economy was in the tank, if we were involved in a couple of stupid different wars, and you had all this other crap that you could try to hang your hat on, I understand the motivation. But if the only motivation is that we don't like this guy, like the one congresswoman called him a mother effer, that made absolutely no sense. So it just made absolutely no sense. I mean, that's how we're going to talk. Why? Because Trump's obnoxious. You get to call the president, a sitting president of the United States, a mother effer. No, you don't. I remember years ago when that congressman from the South somewhere, President Obama was doing the State of the Union, and he yelled out, "You lie!" when he talked about the Affordable Care Act. And I remember that was like, to me, that was like, God, that was so obnoxious. I can't believe he did that. Like, wow, and there was outrage and people calling for censor and all this stuff. And it was like, and it was pretty outrageous. And I'm pretty sure he even apologized. I'm pretty sure he had to. Pretty sure he had to apologize. It was pretty stupid. But my God, compared to what we're doing now, because he hurts people's feelings. Yeah, no shit, right? It's like, oh, my feelings are hurt. But compared to what that guy said when all he said was "you lie," and he said it in the State of the Union, so it was loud. But still, this woman gets up and she said that's what she told her kid, her son. It's like, Jesus, God, what kind of a mouth? She actually kisses her. The old saying, you actually kiss your son with that mouth. It's like that's how she talks to him. Oh yeah, just call the president mother effer. That's the state we're in right now. And obviously that woman, she doesn't care about if somebody has a job or doesn't have a job. Why? What comes after an impeachment proceeding? Or actually during an impeachment proceeding? What happens to the stock market during an impeachment proceeding? What happens to investment during an impeachment proceeding? All this investment is coming in because Donald Trump is president. Now, what if there's a fear that, he may get run out? He may get convicted in the Senate and removed from office. Think there's going to be lots more money flowing into the country? Lots more jobs created? Do you think everybody's going to be kind of holding back a little bit? Probably. Do they care? No. 10 families in their states or their district get laid off and don't have a job. Is she going to go over there and pick up the tab for them? Is she going to hire them in her field office? No. No, she doesn't care. She doesn't care about people. She cares about power. And, again, it's like this hurt feelings thing. I just had to deal with a number of professionals, young, in their 20s. And I couldn't believe it was like something out of a bad sitcom. Like, it's like it should have been called SJW sitcom. Because all this stuff you see on TV about like the people in their 20s or, they get real hurt and you can't offend them. I mean, they're easily offended and they don't like certain words you use and stuff. It's true. I just had to deal with a whole bunch of professionals. I won't go into all the facts and details, but I deal with a whole bunch of professionals in their 20s. And that's what I was getting. In fact, at one point I told this one girl, who was like 26, I said, I don't care about your feelings. I use the old Ben Shapiro line. I don't care about your feelings, But it was true. I really didn't care about her feelings. I didn't. I just didn't. And, she had a job to do, and I just needed her to do it. And, this generation that's coming up, it's like, or that's already up, people in their 20s and early 30s. Hopefully the next generation that are coming up now, they're adolescents, hopefully they're like looking at their parents or their elders saying, well, these people are idiots. I hope they're a little tougher. We have to go to war with these people that are fighting the military. They're none of them we wanting to charge up that hill. I was watching a documentary, I think Discovery Channel had on or somebody had it on, is in Afghanistan. And it showed these young kids in their 20s. They were part of this, I think it was Army unit up in the hills of Afghanistan. While they're sitting up in the little camp, firing the 50 cal down into the valley, they were all talking a lot of shit. And then they actually had to take a position. They showed them taking a position, and they had to charge up a hill. Well, it's not always going to be cover when you're charging up a hill. I mean, it's not going to be a tree every 10 feet you can run behind and hide. Well, one of their guys got killed. And the whole squad, literally in the middle of battle, fell apart. I'm watching this. I'm like, I can't believe they even showed it. I mean, they fell apart. the NCO or officers trying to get him. Come on, move! You got to get up that hill. Well, I got no cover up there. Well, yeah, no shit. It's a hill. We're trying to take it. The enemy's on the other side of it. Yes, you will get shot at. Yes, you may get killed. But you join the army and you have to fight. If you have a rifle, guess what that means? The other guy has a rifle too. And yes, you can shoot him. Guess what? He can also shoot you. But we have to take that position. They would not move. They would not move. They would not move. All of them wanted to stay with their buddy, who was wounded. And they might have already been dead. And they think they were just afraid to go up there and get shot. It's like, well, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, and I'm kind of piecing it together now, a few years later, with this generation. It's like, my God, we can have the best equipment in the world, but if these guys aren't willing to, literally run across an open field or, run through an exposed position or run into, potentially a machine gun nest, we don't, that army we have out there potentially could be a real paper tiger. I hate to say it. But if that was indicative, I saw another thing from Afghanistan. The captain, he was sitting back there with his little laptop in his nice little safe space. There, I'll use that. And his guys were walking across the poppy fields, and the enemy was spotted, and they were chasing after the enemy. And he had to make a decision whether to, ford this creek. It wasn't a river; it was like a creek, and keep chasing after him. Potentially risk the lives of some of his men. But their mission was go, get this outpost, whatever. And he called them back, and he looked right in the camera. And I hope he got court-martialed or freaking sent somewhere else. He looks at the camera and he goes, well, yeah, I could chase after those guys, but not like we're going to win the war or anything. It's like, well, Jesus Christ. And this guy's supposed to be motivating his troops. Okay, maybe there isn't a winning strategy over there. I don't know, but you're there. You signed up. You're given a mission. I'm trying to remember where I saw it. I saw it on cable, and I'm pretty sure I didn't rent like a DVD or I didn't stream it. So it had to be like on PBS or Discovery or like History Channel or something. Probably not History Channel, probably like PBS or Discovery. And it was about this unit. Here, let me light a cigarette. Hold on, sorry. There was this unit in Afghanistan. It was I want to say a major that was in charge of it, and they were up there in the middle of nowhere. They had a problem with fleas and stuff, and they kind of overlooked this one valley. And they used to do a lot of stuff in town also. Let me just check real quick here. Okay. And they used to have to go into the villages and do all that friendship kind of BS. Talk to the village tribal leaders, help assist with putting wells in and stuff. But they were assigned to this one post, and again, it's like a major was in charge, and it's a bunch of young kids, and they showed them shooting the 50 cal and stuff down in the field, oh yeah, I just burned that guy, yeah, he's dead, and all this stuff. And then the scene I remember seeing is when I was talking about, when they have to go advance on a position. And then it's a totally different story. I was like, wow. Big Simpin, O'Shea Duke brought me here. Yeah, man. No, he brought over. I had 11 subs before he gave me the shout out and the links and stuff. I think I'm over 125 right now. So no, again, big shout out to him for that. But I'm glad you're here. Welcome here. But again, there's a VMix video calling link. It's up there in the chat. And I'll put it up there again. Let's see if it'll come through. Let's see. Maybe I'll just copy from here. Here we go. Doop, bump. Doop, bump. There we go. But yeah, you can use that link. You link on there. It's a real simple kind of process, and then you just punch in a username, and then you go, and you're in. It'll take a second. You'll see your screen up here. You can call it in from a phone. You have to have Google or Firefox to be able to access it. But yeah, I might be referring to, maybe that could be it. God, I can't remember. See, I don't remember buying a DVD or something. I don't remember live streaming it. I remember it being on cable. But yeah, it was a young group of guys up on the mountain post, and there was this young major. And then after the guy died, he was back on the horn with his laptop trying to talk to command, like, okay, how do I talk to these guys? And even he was doing his, it was sad watching him because, I guess he read a manual like when you talk to people to try to make them feel inclusive, you hold your hands open handed out. It's just all fake, phony stuff. And he was trying to tell him, well, you signed up for this, but, we lost somebody. Everybody's in there crying and still weeping. This had gone down like 2 days ago. And, but yeah, he was like, what do I do? My men are all demoralized. They don't want to fight. They don't want to do anything. They're just all sad about this one guy that got killed. It's like, how many men did we lose on D-Day? You know, how many men did we lose? Taking Guam or, pick an island. I mean, if everybody would have fallen apart every time one person got killed, we'd all be speaking Japanese right now or German. Um, you know, Again, if you don't want to, hey, if you're just joining the military because you want the benefits and you want, maybe some money for college or something, you best remember that between now and you getting out, there may be a shooting war and you may be part of it. And if you're not willing to do that, then don't join. Hey, I'm not holding a gun to your head. I'm not making you join. I'm not saying you need to go fight for me. I don't care. Institute a draft. I remember when Selective Service first came out. Um, I was old enough. I had to register for Selective Service. Yeah, I didn't go and join. I wasn't like, gung ho and saying, oh, I want to go join. I want to be a lawyer. And I guess I could have gone through the JAG Corps, maybe got, free law school and stuff. But, it wasn't my thing. But if I'd been drafted, I wasn't going to, like, run to Canada or something. Wait, that's kind of racist. You're not allowed to say that. You're supposed to also say, well, I want to run to Mexico. That's what you're supposed to say also. If you don't say Mexico, then it's like, well, what's wrong with Mexico? Although I noticed when a lot of the movie stars were saying after Trump was elected, oh, I'm moving to Canada. Not realizing how racist that sounded because none of them said, I'm moving to Mexico. They said they're all going north. So I thought it was kind of funny. But, yeah, again, if you're going to sign up for the military, I was talking to this one guy. Well, I was in the Army. This guy looked like he was 20 pounds soaking wet. And I'm like, Jesus, I hope you were a good shot. I let him know what I thought about him because we got into it on some issue. But anyway, so I wasn't impressed. You know, yeah. I say, look, don't tell me you. I had this guy. He did his minimum. He got out. He got in to get his benefits, whatever he's going to do with it, and split. Now, again, if you want to do that, that's fine. But if we ask you to go, shoot some people or get shot at, and you're getting paid to do that, well, then you damn well better go do that. Okay, sorry, you better. So anyway, but let's see what else is going on in the news today. I saw something here. I saw the stupid Adam Schiff story, which he's an idiot. Let's see. Trump signing to Clinton and Obama amid border wall shutdown. Well, that's actually kind of funny because yeah, they both both President Obama when he was a senator and as president he deported a whole bunch of people. Both talked about the need for border security, and Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton actually talked about it as well. So I guess then it was a good thing to talk about, but then since the Democratic Party is now shifting away from going after the African American vote to now going after the Latino vote, specifically the immigrant vote, now I guess they have to be against building a wall. They were for it when their big play was the African American vote because obviously illegal immigration hits the urban areas faster than anybody. A lot of African Americans reside in the urban areas, competing for the same jobs, same housing, all the way around. And that's look at Compton. Again, I was on Axel's show the other night, and I said, yeah, look at who the congressperson from Compton is. The female congressperson. I can't remember her name was, but it wasn't a black woman. It was a Hispanic woman, and I think she ran against the mayor of Compton, who was a black woman, and she won. And the scary part about that is that I talked about this the other night was that with the white people moving back into Brooklyn, Spike Lee seemed to think they never lived there before. I don't know why. Hey man, just watch the old movies, you know. But anyway, so there was a lot of coverage about that gentrification, why people move back in, cultural imbalance and all that. There was a lot of coverage, a lot of cable roundtable discussions, above the fold, New York Times, Washington Post, front page stories. A lot of discussion about it, a lot of attention paid to it. Uh, Latinos gentrifying Compton and a little surrounding area there, and turning it from like 78% African American to I want to say like 35, 40% African American now. Uh, and nobody said a word about it. That's the scary part. I mean, again, like on the pecking order of the food chain, I guess at the top you have your LGBTQ. Ask Kevin Hart; he can tell you about that. And then I guess next down for the Democrats, you have your Latinos, Hispanics, and then I guess down from there, I guess you probably have your women, any women, probably black women, and then down from there you probably have your black men as far as their identity politics. And so I mean, they're making their move, and even though years ago when they were still vying seriously for the African American vote, they all talked about we need border security because they were playing for the African American vote, but now they're playing for the Hispanic vote, and suddenly now they all shift. It's like, oh no, we don't want a wall. No, that's bad. I was like, wait a second. Like 7 years ago, you said it was good. 5 years ago, you said it was good. Like I think 3 or 4 years ago, you said it was good. You said it was good to be deporting these people. And well, no, I was, I've evolved. That's always the best line. I've evolved in my position. That's always a good one. I like when people say that. I've evolved in my position. Yes, great. How wonderful for you. If we all get to evolve someday. So let's see what else is going on. Supreme Court. Something about the Supreme Court. SCOTUS to review, Supreme Court of the United States to review FUCT, that's funny, FUCT trademark in First Amendment case between fashion designer and patent office. Well, that's something I don't do a lot of. I don't do patent law. You have to be a patent trademark attorney, licensed attorney to do it. So I know very little about that law. It doesn't sound like a lot of fun anyway. Dershowitz, underage sex allegations. 2 Americans among 5 ISIS fighters captured in Syria. 2 Americans fighting for ISIS were among 5 ISIS fighters recently captured in eastern Syria. Eesh. Well, if you're going to go do that, then, you got to take the good with the bad. I mean, if you're going to fight for ISIS, you risk getting captured, and uh, the Syrians aren't going to have a lot of sympathy for them at all. And I don't think we want them back. I don't think you see anybody getting on a plane and flying over there saying, "Oh, can we have our, ISIS fighters back? Because we'd love to have them in this country." No. Let's see.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she's for comprehensive immigration.
Let's see here. Pelosi says the wall is immoral. And Fox decides to bring some religious experts in to tell us, I guess it is moral. That's not what the art. You always got to watch when you bring in like some kind of a moral argument, because there's always one. Yeah, I just saw it. Let's see, it's a Fox News story. 2 Americans. Let's see if I can pull it up here. I can share it. I wonder if I can share it over to this off the phone. I wonder if I could do that. Well, here, I got a better way to do it. Why don't we just do this? Click. Boom. Give me just a second. Just do a little typing here real quick. Let's see. 2 Americans. Syria. Do 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 do. Boom. Pop. There's the link right there. boom. Let's see if I can pull the actual. Let's see. I used to know how to do this, so don't get mad if I do if I screw it up. Let's see here. There'll be more technical difficulties beyond my control. And input, web browser. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, what the hell is that? Oh, there you go. Okay. Boom. All right, and you get to see these guys instead of me. So, all right, 2 Americans captured. You just have me talking over it. I guess I can put a picture in picture, but I really don't feel like taking the time to do that right now. Sorry, guys. But anyway, let's see. There you go. 2 Americans were among ISIS fighters recently captured in eastern Syria, according to a spokesman for U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces. Yeah, I'm having a hard time reading this because I can't see it. That's always good. But anyway, the one guy looked pretty beat up. The other guy, I don't know, didn't look like he's too bad off. Originally from the United States, but no specific location was reported. Let's see. News. If you guys can see this better than I can, then let's just scroll down here for you so you can actually see the headline. If you go to the link, though, you can scroll it also. Where the reports of Americans, yeah, not a lot of Americans, a lot of people from England have gone over there and joined, and other countries in Europe, but definitely not a lot of Americans. Well, I mean, Obama took out that one guy in Yemen, that one American, like, boom, droned his ass. But anyway, I forgot who the guy was, but it's like, and it was all okay. Well, can you kill an American citizen overseas without a trial, without due process? And President Obama was like, yeah. Well, really? Yeah, I just said you could. So yeah, we can. So we did. And well, he's dead. And so I guess the appeal right is over at that point. But yeah, I remember that. That was kind of a media, of course, played it down. If Trump had done that to an American citizen, like, oh my God, geez, what are you trying to do? You're destroying the Constitution. No due process. Oh, you're a tyrant. Oh, you're terrible. Obama does it. It's like, well, yeah, I guess it's okay. That guy got so much of a bash from the media. I mean, that's okay. I mean, I voted for the guy twice, so hey, still though, I would have liked to have been held a little more accountable by the media, just to kind of, nobody was holding him accountable. That's the second term. He just kind of was like, hey man, do what I want. Hey, have a nice day. Let's see. 3 other fighters captured included from Ireland. Ireland. Oh, there you go. And 2 are from Pakistan. Bolton caught Syria against using chemical weapons have been planned to pull U.S. troops. Well, and there's an interesting Bolton. There's a little link there to Bolton warning the Syrians about using chemical weapons on their people. Phew. We have we have the single, I believe, largest stockpile of chemical weapons in the world. Either we do or the Russians do. I'm pretty sure it's us, though. And if it's not the largest, it's probably the best and the deadliest. Because, hey, we're Americans. We kill people better than anybody around the world. That's just who we are. So, that's just how we roll, man. So, oh, I got some more cigarettes. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's see. I'm gonna play. Let's see if I got this music up. I have to go walk to the other room and get some cigarettes. So anyway, I'm gonna play some music for you guys, and let's put this headline up here. There we go. There we go. All right, I'm gonna play some music for you guys. Hopefully it comes through.
Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. It's beautiful. Time flies when you get it right, so hold on tight never grew up and lived like you just get one tonight. We're kings and queens. One blink and it's over. Wake up and we're older tonight. We're kings and queens. Stop, take a breath, close your eyes, remember this. Oh, 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 it's beautiful.
Anyway, I'm back. Turn the music down a little bit. Nice.
You just get one tonight. We're kings and queens.
Well, I hope you like the music. So I hope you enjoyed that. But anyway, yeah, so that's one of the stories. Let's see, what else was I going through here? And let me get back over here to... where are we? I think it was this one. Okay, let's see. There we go. All right, and let's get back over to YouTube. Let's see. Looking at the link right now. Yeah, interesting story. But, you know, I mean, we got 330 million people in the country, so we lose a few over to Syria. I mean, that's not the end of the world. Britons would now vote to stay in EU, 1 second referendum. Yeah, well, gee, I wonder why. You know, in Britain, they have the same problem we do, except they have a worse problem with their media. I mean, their media is actually funded by the government. I mean, straight up real. So, I mean, there's been a big, huge propaganda push, just like we see with the liberal media in this country with MSNBC and CNN. You know, I mean, again, the Trump-Russia thing, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, I mean, 24/7. You know, it's amazing that his core approval rating has, on the, like, real averages of their polling, has stayed between, 43 and 45%. Some outliers get them over 50. Some outliers get them down around 35. Well, I think the lowest one I saw was 37. But those are just outlier polls. They don't mean really much. But, I mean, considering all the attacks he gets from CNN, MSNBC, Washington Post, New York Times, etc., everybody, and he's still at 43, 45, it's pretty amazing number. I mean, that's a real core group of people. But in Britain, their press is really hardcore. And there's a lot of people, powerful, rich people, who obviously want the British to stay in the European Union. It's not helping the British people out by being in the European Union. I mean, they've had, you talk about, illegal immigration here. Well, there they have, it's legal migration. You're part of the EU. Pretty much you're allowed in the one country, you get to go anywhere you want. And that's pretty much what happened over there. And they've got a whole bunch of people who have no interest in becoming British. I mean, you can say, well, the Americans are awful. Well, I mean, the British are pretty cool. I don't know. But, well, I mean, I think we're the coolest, actually. But, they're coming over with a different culture, a lot of pedophiles, rape gangs, grooming gangs, grooming young girls to be, prostitutes and stuff. And then, we have the First Amendment, freedom of the press. They don't have a First Amendment over there. You think like, oh, that came from Britain, the First Amendment. No, the First Amendment was put in place because in Great Britain they didn't have freedom of the press. So that's why we put that in place here. So, I mean, like the one guy, Tommy Robinson, I'm sure some of you heard his story. He was although probably not many of you, because it wasn't really covered on the media because they don't want to cover that story. He was covering a grooming gang trials, like 14 Pakistani migrants were part of this, like grooming young British girls to be in rape, to be prostitutes. You got them hooked on drugs and, the whole 10 yards. I saw Information Man doing that show yesterday about R. Kelly. Well, I mean, you had 14 R. Kellys on trial all at the same time in one case in one town in Britain. This thing goes on all over the place. Well, the judge put a gag order on any coverage I mean, any press coverage whatsoever. The newspapers couldn't even report on the trial happening. And it wasn't because they wouldn't be able to see the jury. Is politicians didn't want that story covered because they didn't want to go against the narrative that, oh, migrants are great. Well, except for except for all the ones that are, practicing this kind of stuff with Sharia law and grooming gangs. That looks like I'm buffering just a little bit there. Sorry about that. That's probably because I got to take that one thing off. Let me see here. That's probably taking on some space. Yeah, let me close out of that. Boom. There we go. That might help a little bit. Yeah, that should help. Okay, probably stop that. There we go. Okay, I should be okay now. Oh, no, there it goes again. Yep, still buffering a little bit. Let's see, what do I got up open here? Oh, probably that, and probably take down this. There we go. All right, yeah, I got to get a faster processor. I'm only at like 2.5 gigahertz, not gigahertz, whatever you call it. I don't know what they call it. Maybe it is gigahertz processing speed. I think I need probably around a 3.5 or 4 processor. I'm just going to take this laptop in this week to get it done. To increase my processing speed. Probably get more RAM speed. I think I only have 8 gigabytes of RAM, or whatever it is. I want to get like 16. So I think it's not just the internet speed. I got high speed internet here, but I think it's also my processing speed. I have a lot of different windows open and stuff. It's a hard time getting over there to it. But so anyway, they wouldn't let. So Tommy Robinson, who was a journalist, was covering the story, and he was just covering from far away, and they held him in contempt, stuck him in jail for I think he was there for 4 months, some crazy thing like that. And then they transferred him to a prison, into a wing of the prison where primarily Muslims were being housed. They kind of house them separately, like we house people separately here in the United States. And they put him in that wing, and with all these these Muslims, and then they had to put him into a cell by himself. But the guys would still come by and throw shit through the bars, and he had to put tape up, and he lost all this weight. He was really sickly. It was just terrible how they treated. And he was a member of the press, and of course our press over here didn't. I think I saw, and Fox didn't do much better either. I mean, Fox is owned by, what was the name of that company? Sky News or whatever. They're trying to make a move into Europe, so they weren't going to cover it a lot. I think Tucker Carlson had this guy on for maybe, I don't know, a minute and a half, and he's trying to shush him off the show like he did his little obligation, but you can tell he wasn't comfortable with it either. But I mean, here's a reporter locked up for covering a story about young girls getting raped because you weren't allowed to, because it goes against the narrative, Same thing we got going on over here. So, of course, now it makes sense that majority of people in Britain want to stay part of the European Union and now want a second vote. Why is that? Well, because they've been propagandized for the last 2 years now, over and over and over again, about how awful Brexit is, how awful the people who were part of UKIP, that's their independence party that was a big leader on Brexit, breaking away from the European Union. They for 2 years they've been just inundated by every form of the media, and they're limited there also in what you can say on social media. Social media, you can get arrested. You say the wrong. It's not like here. Here you get you get a strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. You get kicked off YouTube, or you get banned from Twitter, or you get in Facebook jail. No, there you get put in real jail. I mean, you get really arrested. They could arrest you for using hate speech. Because if you said something wrong on a social media site. So there's very little other information other than the government-controlled media that goes out to people. And in 2 years, you get inundated like our media tries to inundate us. But here we have other alternative sources, albeit they try to do the best they can to keep the alternative sources down, primarily conservative sources down. I've seen that recently with some black YouTubers also. They're going after them too. It's like, wait, hey man, we're black. No, like what the hell are you doing? It's like, no, we're getting rid of you too. Sorry, you're talking like something we don't want to hear. You're talking about man issues or whatever, or being independent or whatever, or like, Anthony Brian Logan caught a strike and couldn't live stream for 90 days. I mean, they allowed him to go onto his other site, the ABL Gaming site, but still, I mean, the number of subs on the site, not even close to his main Anthony Bryan Logan site. I think that site has over 230,000 subs. The ABL Gaming site only has, like, I think last time I looked, 5 or 6,000. So I mean, he's a conservative guy, and he got dinged also. So, but anyway, that's just the way it goes right now. But anyway, I just want to thank everybody for who came into the chat and who left some chats there or who've been viewing this video. And I'm not going to delete this one because I didn't have any technical issues to speak of. So this one will be part of the instant replay. But again, I want to thank everybody. And let's see right here. And yeah, I get a kick out of Mr. Jackson's little chat. It's like, yeah. Oh, by the way, we noticed, Mr. Jackson, the mic I'm using, the Blue Yeti microphone. Yes, I saw that's the one you were using. I was looking for microphones, and I saw that you would use this, and also another YouTuber, Gad Sad. He's a professor out of Toronto. We're using it too, by the distinctive little buttons on the front there. For the gain, I guess they call it, in the other selector switch. And all the reviews I said it was the best. You use it. Your sound sounds good. His sound sounds good. That's one of the reasons why I bought it. So just to let you know, thanks so much. But anyway, guys, I want you to have a great day. Of course, this afternoon, I believe it's approximately 2 p.m. Western time, my time, the Rumble, O'Shea Jackson's Rumble, is on. I know all you guys know that. I mean, that is HBO quality stuff. I mean, I'm sorry. That's better than anything on HBO, anything on the networks right now. That's HBO quality interviews and debates and everything else. I mean, what, Bill Maher, right? Compared to the Rumble, not even close. I mean, God, that guy makes 7 figures a year. you know. But anyway, I'll definitely be in the chat room this afternoon on Mr. Jackson's The Rumble. So look forward to seeing you all the guys there. And I just want to say thank you and have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.